Good morning. First of all, I want to thank everybody for your patience and for being here this morning. My name is Rashad Charjuan. I'm the police chief here in Austin, Texas. Last name is spelled A-C-E, V as in Victor, E-D-O. This morning we're going to be providing an update on this investigation. As you can imagine, it is an ongoing investigation. It's a fluid investigation, but I'm happy to say that it's moving very rapidly and very efficiently. This morning we will open it up with our mayor, the Honorable Lee Leffingwell. The mayor will then be followed by Chief Harry Evans of the Austin Police Department. He's the chief of staff. Chief Evans will then be followed by the chief of staff of the EMS here in Travis County, Chief James Chamard, who will then be followed by Mr. Roland Swenson from South by Southwest, and then I will come back up and give an investigative update on where we're at in terms of the investigation and where we go from here. So with that, I'd like to call to the podium the Honorable Lee Leffingwell, Mayor of Austin, Texas.
Thank you, Chief. I want to be very brief. First, I want to express my deepest sympathy and condolences to those who were injured or lost their lives last night in this very tragic accident. There's no way to express the deepness of our sympathy and condolences for these folks. It is truly a tragic event. At the same time, I want to acknowledge the excellent performance of our first responders who performed in a way that perhaps saved many lives. We'll know more about that later on today. There were about 25 people involved, and the incident was cleared from the streets in less than 15 minutes, and I think that speaks to that excellent performance. Finally, I do want to say that South by Southwest is a long-time event, 27 years. This is the first time in those 27 years that we've had an incident of this kind. And we will, of course, as we always do, continually evaluate all of our events to make sure they're as safe as they can possibly be. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our first responder chiefs to talk more about the details, and first will be Chief Acevedo.
Okay, Mayor, thank you. I want to start with with the fire department and Chief, Mayor, then I'll go last. Go ahead, okay. Chief Evans.
Thank you, Chief. My name is Harry Evans. I'm the Chief of Staff, Austin Fire Department, and just like the Mayor said, our condolences out to all the people that were affected by this senseless tragedy. As you know, about 12:30 this morning, we were notified that there was an automobile pedestrian collision, and it turned out to be much more than that. We had units on the scene within minutes. We had 24 firefighters and 2 command elements on scene, and just as the Mayor said, the trauma patients were removed in 15 minutes, the extreme patients, and the rest of the patients were gone from the scene within 47 minutes. It's an example of collaboration, coordination, and a lot of training between fire, police, and EMS. So those are all the comments I have right now, unless you have further questions, but I'll turn it over to Chief Chamard.
Yeah, spelling.
Absolutely. First name's Harry, H-A-R-R-Y, last name Evans, E-V-A-N-S, Chief of Staff, Austin Fire.
Chief, we were told that you guys had actually trained for a scenario like this just a week prior.
We actually have ongoing training for mass casualty events like this.
Thank you. My name is James Chamard. I'm the Chief of Staff for the Austin Travis County Emergency Medical Services. We received the first notification at about 12:32 this morning of the reported auto pedestrian. The incident was spread out over about 3 blocks right here in this particular area. We had medical personnel and command staff that was on the scene almost immediately because we have Polaris type patient care vehicles, motorcycles, bicycles, and commanders actually throughout the South by Southwest event. So we were here very, very quickly with that first wave of command and medical personnel. Shortly after, we brought in additional ambulances. There was 6 additional ambulances that arrived on the scene to take care of what initially was 25 patients. You mentioned about the training. We train for the MCI type events or the mass casualty type events. We have pre-plans for every big event like this, and when the crews show up in midday for South by Southwest, for example, we not only review the plan on how we're going to manage the typical patients, but we review how we're going to handle a mass casualty situation like this should it occur. When a big event happens like this, we shift out of the normal operating mode from a couple of medics taking care of a patient, and we go into a triage mode, and we tag everybody with a MCI tag, and they fall into one of three categories, red being the most significant of a patient that's going to be transported, yellow is a medium category, and green is minimal injuries, and the black category means they're expectant or they're already deceased on the scene. As I mentioned, we had a total of 25 patients on the scene, and of those, 23 of them fell into either red, yellow, or green category, and 2 were black. 2 were cardiac arrest when we arrived, and they were pronounced dead on the scene. We transported a total of 23 patients to 3 of our local hospitals, and the breakdown on that is 5 patients were very critical patients. We tagged them as red and transported them to University Medical Center Brackenridge right here behind me, and we were very fortunate to have that level 1 trauma center here and have it so close. We transported a total of 5 yellow category patients. 4 of those went to St. David's Hospital, which is just about a mile or so behind me past Brackenridge, and 1 went to South Austin Medical Center on Ben White Boulevard. We had 13 patients that were tagged green, which means they did suffer some injuries. We did transport them to the hospital, but they were not life-threatening. All of our critical patients, our red category patients, were off the scene within 15 minutes from the time we received the first call. And you can imagine what it was like out here with all the pedestrians and all the excitement from the event. And I can't say enough about the work that the Austin Police Department, the Austin Fire Department, our men and women of Austin Travis County EMS did, coming in and sorting through that event and figuring out who was injured and who was not injured, making sense of it, and then getting those most critical patients off the scene in 15 minutes. Our next category, our yellow category patients, were off the scene in 21 minutes, and I believe everybody was off the scene in around 50 minutes. So they did just a fantastic job triaging, assessing, and getting those patients off the scene. We had 28 medics and commanders on the scene, and as I mentioned, that included things like these special response units, these Polarises that can move around in the congested areas, motorcycles, bicycles, and then of course our ambulances and our command contingency. The latest information we have from the hospital networks about the patients is as follows. We have 2 patients that they categorized as being still in very critical condition. We have 3 that are receiving treatment, and they may be in surgery or they're serious, but not as serious as the top 2. So really a total of 5 that are very serious. We had 3 that are still hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries, and a total of 15 that was transported and then released from the hospital as of now. So that's the overview of, from an EMS standpoint, of what we encountered and who we transported, and I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Can you spell your name for us, please?
James, J-A-M-E-S, last name Shamard, S-H-A-M-A-R-D, with Austin Travis County Emergency Medical Services. Thank you. Correct.
And so there are only 5 hospitalized now?
There are a total of 8 that's still in the hospital, and I believe 5 of those are in Brackenridge and 2 of those are at South Austin Hospital. They're at some other hospital other than Brackenridge. It's either St. David's or South Austin, but there's two besides the 5 at Brack. And those have non-life-threatening injuries from what I understand.
Do you know of all those patients how many were actually hit by the car or?
I don't, ma'am. And PD may be able to speak to that. When we came in, we just identified the patients and got them off the scene.
Will you guys please repeat the questions so that we can all hear?
Repeat what she just said.
Sure.
So we can hear.
She asked how many of those patients were actually hit by the car. And my response was, from an EMS standpoint, we don't know that information. That's still being sorted out by the Austin Police Department. Thank you.
My name is Roland Swinson. I'm the managing director of South by Southwest. The South by Southwest staff is stunned and deeply moved by the events of last night. Dozens of us were here on the scene when the incident occurred, and we worked closely with APD, EMS, and the fire department to create a perimeter around the area, turning back all the visitors spilling out of the nightclubs and trying to move north on Red River. To avoid confusion, we plan to carry on with our scheduled daytime events at the Austin Convention Center in order to keep our tens of thousands of participants from outside the city occupied during this tragic time. All of the South by Southwest staffers and volunteers reported for their regular duties this morning, and we will continue working throughout the day. We're contacting all of our venues to find out if they've made any decisions about their operations that might impact our visitors. As much as we would just like to go home and spend time absorbing the shock of this horrific event, we feel that our best use is to continue to operate today. We will make announcements about any changes in our schedule as they occur and as we further assess the situation today. Our thoughts and our prayers are with the families of the injured and the families of the fatalities.
Will there be any more concerts tonight at the Mohawk?
The Mohawk and Chirrup Charlie's are talking about how they should best proceed. You know, I think like everyone else, they would just like to go home. But I think we all feel some obligation to all the people that have traveled here from all around the world to be part of this event, to keep moving forward.
Do you foresee any changes in that area as far as access?
You know, I'm sure APD has a plan, and the chief will discuss that.
And what about with Lady Gaga? I just noted that there's a lot of questions about that with so many people headed to Stubbs tonight.
You know, we've not been in touch with them. Obviously, they're still preparing for the show. You know, I think it would probably cause more problems for everyone to show up and be turned away from the show than to just move ahead.
Are you anticipating any kind of a memorial or something?
I'm certain that there will be, but we've not had time to make plans like that.
Has anybody ever lost their life during a South by Southwest?
No.
Okay. Thank you. All right, thank you all. And then I forgot, if you're wondering who these folks are in the uniform, that's our executive team from Austin Police Department. I also have Councilmember Mike Martinez here with us. What I'm going to do now is provide an overview from beginning to end from a law enforcement perspective. First of all, I want to say to South by Southwest, we urge them to continue with this great venue. We cannot allow one individual who, through his selfish acts, cared only about one person, that was himself, to ruin a wonderful event, a worldwide event, a celebration of life, a celebration of music. And I think if you were to cancel events, it would be a victory for evil and not a victory for humanity. So I stand with you, and I think everybody behind you stands with you, South by Southwest, in continuing this great event. At approximately 12:30 hours this morning, a member of the Austin Police Department who was working an overtime program, which we call STEP, looking for DWIs, initiated a routine traffic stop at the Shell gas station located southbound Interstate 35, which is right here to my left, the frontage road at the Shell gas station. This stop is on video. The suspect driving that vehicle immediately turned on his turn signal, feinting as if he was going to yield, went into the Shell gas station located at the southbound frontage road of 35 at 9th Street, which is right behind you. He turned his signal, drove in. The officer believed that the suspect was going to actually move out of the way and go to a better spot where he wasn't in the way of the number of patrons that were in the gas station. The suspect, rather than stopping, continued through the parking lot of the gas station, exited here on East 9th Street, and immediately accelerated to a high rate of speed. Because of the number of vehicles inside the gas station, the officer had to physically back out of the gas station and come around the corner. As he came around the corner, the suspect was closer to 9th Street and Red River than he was to the frontage road. The officer immediately started to try to catch up to the vehicle, and before he caught up, the suspect turned here behind you. We had a member of the Austin Police Department working in barricade control who actually was forced to jump out of the way so he would not be hit. The suspect then rapidly accelerated down the street that you see behind me for about 2 blocks to 11th Street, striking most of the pedestrians right here in this block that you see between 9th and 10th Street. The suspect then entered the intersection at 11th and Red River. In that sequence of events, he struck a cyclist, a person on a bicycle, struck 2 individuals on a moped, struck a taxi, and at one point went onto the northwest sidewalk through the parking lot up here at 11th and Red River and struck a van. A lot of folks are asking, were we in pursuit? Were we not in pursuit? The officer initiated the actual pursuit as he turned here at 9th and Red River. He broadcast that the suspect had driven through and struck a series of pedestrians, at which point he advised dispatch that he was going to engage in a pursuit. He then activated his sirens and started chasing the suspect, who, after he crashed at 11th and Red River, immediately fled the scene on foot. The officer noticed the suspect riding westbound on 9th Street, 11th Street from Red River, and gave chase on foot. The officer that was here, to give you a frame of point of reference on how quickly this happened, that was forced to jump out of the way to not get hit, was actually able to run down the street here all the way to 11th and help in the apprehension of that suspect. The suspect was actually tased by the pursuing officer, and that put an end to the foot pursuit. Earlier this morning, as you can imagine, with the incident being so spread out, and actually we have basically a very long crime scene, initially we reported that the 2 deceased individuals were on the moped. We have now, through continued investigation, have determined that a female was pronounced dead on the moped, and the male driver of that moped is in stable and good condition. We do have a person that was struck on 11th and Red River, who was a cyclist. That individual was pronounced at the scene. That individual is from the Netherlands. We've determined it is an individual from the Netherlands. And again, as everybody said, our thoughts and prayers are with everybody that has been impacted, not just the people that have been killed by this selfish individual who showed absolutely no regard for the sanctity of life and for the individual on the street, but also for the individuals that witnessed this, that were forced to jump out of the way. Tragedy brings, I think, opportunity. It's an opportunity for a gut check. It's a gut check for the people involved. It's a gut check for this community. It's a gut check for the state. And I think it's a gut check for the global community that's been visiting here. And what that gut check has demonstrated is that we can be scared for a minute, but everybody sprung into action. From the people that were forced out of the way, civilians, to the police officers, to EMS, to fire. I can tell you that from this tragedy, my silver lining is that the best of humanity, South by Southwest, everybody came together to restore order and to restore what we should be focusing on, which is this great event. This suspect faces 2 counts of capital murder, which in the state of Texas is the highest offense you can charge someone with. He also faces multiple counts of aggravated assault with the vehicle. That vehicle was used as a weapon, and he will be charged with those crimes. Now, a lot of folks are calling, asking where they can contact the police department. We have a lot of witnesses. So proud that so many people that witnessed this stayed behind. It speaks volumes as to the collective heart of the people that are in this city and that are visiting or part of this music scene. But there's still other people trying to contact us. If you are a witness, if you have video, if you have any information, please contact the Austin Police Department at area code 512-974-5186. That's 512-974-5186. As you all know, we've had 23 individuals transported to area hospitals. A handful still remain hospitalized. If you want to check on a loved one, the Red Cross within the hour will have a comprehensive list of who's been impacted by this, and within the hour, you have to give them an hour. We're trying to make sure we're very accurate on that list. The number for the Red Cross will be 800-928-4271, 800-928-4271. And in closing, before I take questions, I want to just say again to our public safety colleagues, just outstanding. Fire, EMS, and the men and women of the Austin Police Department. This was an opportunity for us to showcase the excellence of this community, and I think that despite the tragedy, that a lot of excellent things happened. It really restores our faith in the human race. And so with that, I will open it up to questions. The suspect has been booked, but the formal charges have not been charged yet. They will be sometime this afternoon, and under Texas law, we cannot release his name until we formally charge him. But he is a male black adult, and as soon as we get the charges formally filed, we will go ahead and release that name, and we will do that through a press release, through social media, the Austin Police Department Twitter feed, which is Austin underscore, whatever that is called, underscore police.
Is there any idea, is there any theories behind motive? Like, do you feel that maybe, like, the strict DUI laws in Texas inspired him to try to escape, which then led to...
I'm not going to sit here and speculate. I can just tell you that it's clear from his actions, from what I've seen, that this is an individual that showed no regard for the human beings that he plowed to in his attempt to get away. He's talking about motive, and I'm not going to speculate as to his motive. We did blood alcohol level has been asked. We obtained a search warrant. We do have blood samples. That will be one of our priorities to get that analyzed, but that's still not back from us. We cannot, under Texas law, talk about any priors.
The driver from Austin.
That's part of our investigation.
Do you know where he was coming from?
That's part of our investigation.
Can you say the person from the Netherlands, was it a man or a woman?
The victim from the Netherlands was riding a bicycle, and it is a man. A male adult.
The woman who's killed, where is she from, please?
The woman that was killed is a local person.
From Austin.
Yes.
One
One was pronounced at the scene. One that was on a bicycle, that was a male subject from the Netherlands, and one on the moped, which is a female subject from here locally.
You got long-standing concerns about barricade control.
Does that add into your investigation?
Yes, and I had mentioned it earlier. We've had 2 people lose their lives. We've had other people really sustain some really critical injuries. And I would just ask people, then, rather than just post it on social media, let's respect the sanctity of the investigation, and I think the importance of what this means to these families that have been victimized here this morning. Please provide it to us. You can always post it later, but I think we all have a collective responsibility to do our very best to bring some justice and some closure to the families that have lost their loved ones here through the selfish act of one individual.
Do we believe that he was under the influence of anything besides alcohol?
Pardon me?
The department's had long-standing concerns about barricade control and drive-ins and that sort of thing. Are you going to be changing anything or looking at
No,
this?
we will always assess this, but let's get something really clear so you all understand. This is an individual that committed an intentional act. Unless you completely block this with vehicles all the way across, if you have a car here, he's going to go on the sidewalk.
Building to building.
You have to understand that it is an intentional act. Number 2, this is a widespread event that requires emergency response to medical calls, emergency response to police calls, and we have to have a passageway for emergency vehicles. This has been going on, this event and hundreds of events throughout Austin, Texas for a couple decades now, and this is it's very unusual. This is the first one that I'm aware of that we've ever had. So will we review our procedures? Always, we always look at that. But understand something, when somebody acts intentionally, it's very difficult to stop. So if you have a car here, you go around the car. You had a police officer in uniform that was forced to jump out of the way. And so the answer, the short answer, long answer is our system, there's a method to the madness, if you will. There's a method to why we do things the way we do. And it's worked for many, many years. And I don't foresee any huge changes in the way that we set up our closures. Sí, pero voy a hacer el español al final.
Do you think a different type of barricade would have helped?
Pardon me?
Do you think a different type of barricade would have helped?
You know, that's all speculation. But again, you have to understand something. An individual that's willing to drive down a street mowing people down is either going to crash through a barricade or go around a barricade. You've got sidewalks here. You've got a lot of ways for a person to get around. And so, you know, we can speculate on that, but the bottom line is when somebody's acting intentionally, and this is a person that was trying to get away, it's very difficult to stop. But I will say this to our pedestrians. We have thousands of pedestrians. We have a lot of traffic. Side note from this, please be careful out there. People are not, pedestrians aren't stopping for red lights. I've been working patrol all night. You know, and obviously this has nothing to do with it, but we still have a few more days. We have a tremendous amount of people on foot around here. Please, pedestrians, and please, drivers, let's share the road responsibly. Let's be respectful of one another. Let's follow the rules so we can finish the rest of this week without any other tragedies. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and transition to Spanish.